Let's talk about the 5 ugly things you're going to have to do in retirement. This isn't a fun video to record. It's not a fun video to watch, but it's good for you to know what's coming in these first years of retirement and what you're going to have to deal with. The first one that I want to talk about is the people. People change, and people are going to let go of you, and you're going to have to let go of people. It's just part of the second act. I actually did a whole video on it. I'll put the links below on how to meet new people, but the people that were part of your life because of proximity, because they were your colleagues, your coworkers, or because they were the parents of the kids that your kids were involved in, those people move away as you're in retirement. You're no longer working in a professional setting. So all those people are gone. And it's a very awkward feeling for you to suddenly realize that all your friends are drifting away. And I had a friend her daughter was getting married, and it was just so awkward to not be invited, to not be a part of it, to see pictures online and going, oh, I wasn't even invited where you would have been before. And it's just part of what happens as you move into retirement. You lose track of a lot of people, but you also don't necessarily want to go back into those worlds anymore. You don't necessarily, people who are still working, you just can't identify, or you don't want to be part of the drama of the workplace anymore. So those people go away. The people that retired, a lot of times they move away, and so you drift that way. And there's other people that you just need to let go of because they're toxic. When you were working, you could deal with the toxicity because it was just, you had to, it was part of the workplace. But once you're retired and you start to feel really good about yourself and really good about life, you have to let those toxic relationships go. And sometimes those are even family relationships. Very, very tough. But you cannot allow toxicity into your body. Once you are able to break free and start to do a whole new lifestyle for yourself, those toxic relationships have to go. And as I did a whole video on how to meet new people because you have a new focus in life, and it's not work based and it's not kids based. Well, what is it going to be? And that's where new friends come in and new perspectives. They give you energy and excitement and motivation to do new things. And part of the second thing we'll talk about as ugly part of retirement is that you have to reinvent who you are. You're no longer identified by the title that you carried for so long, and you're no longer identified as so and so's mom, right? Your kids are grown, they're their own people now. And so you need a whole new identity. And so people and identity go hand in hand. You need the people that will help you build this new identity, inspire you in this new way, and that won't hold you to an old identity that you've let go of. You don't want to be the problem solver for work anymore. You don't want to be the person that kind of listens to someone dump, or the venting. They come to you and they just tell you everything that's wrong with life. You don't need that in this new stage. And as you're coming up with a whole new identity, you need to find new sources of motivation, inspiration. Like, you want to see the people who are doing retirement well. What are they doing? And get into their circles and find these new passions for life. Because as you move into retirement, the third thing I'll say is that it is very related to this identity is you need a new purpose, a new meaning. You need a reason to get up. And this one really trips people up. This is probably the ugliest retirement reality is you need a reason to get out of bed. And finding purpose and finding meaning, it becomes your focus. It becomes what you do. So before you might have said, oh, I'm an accountant, or, oh, I was a meeting planner. Now it's like when people say, what do you do? I don't say I'm a retiree, right? That's not an identity to me. That's a life stage, but it's not an identity. So now you need to find that meaning, that purpose. What do you do? Who are you in this next stage? So identity and purpose are huge parts of who you need to reshape and redefine as you move into retirement. And for everybody, that's different. I talk a lot about archetypes because archetypes help you discern who you want to be in this new stage. You're going to let go of a lot of different things. Who are you going to be going forward? And that's where finding new people who will bring you new interests. Like maybe you can become a kayaking enthusiast or a hiking enthusiast or a bird watcher. Like you're going to take on new passions, new hobbies, and that's going to shape who you are. So the people are very related to what you're going to do, which is very related to the meaning. I feel like this is a trifecta as you move into a retirement, and they're all very hard things to overcome. And give yourself grace to find what really lights you up. Don't just jump into the first thing that comes along. So take a beat and decide, I get to be anybody. I was talking to my brother just last night, and he's like, yeah, I got to start thinking about what I'm going to do next. I'm like, he had such a negative, like, he was worried about it. And I just looked at him and said, this is awesome. This is a great problem to have. Not everybody gets to have this problem. You get to say, who do I want to be next? And what do I want my life to mean? What a cool thing. So I know this is a video about what's ugly in retirement, and I'm hoping to flip the script for you to say, these are beautiful things that you get to decide. And look at this like a buffet, like walking into the ultimate candy store with all these bright colors and things you get to try in different flavors. You get to try on different stuff, and the people will help you. Having different people in your life to say, oh, I like what she's doing. Let me go try out and see what try doing some of the things that she's doing and see if that fits my lifestyle. Oh, I like how they're devoted to the Red Cross. There's so many opportunities through the Red Cross. You can say, oh, I want to try on all these different roles within the Red Cross to see what really lights me up. How can I give back to my community? You can go to town meetings and it's like, what are the topics people are talking about? What are they concerned about? And how can I get involved with different projects? There's so much that you can explore. So I know it feels ugly to have to come up with a new identity, a new friend group, but it's so much fun. And so I hope that can flip the script. So what are some other ugly things you're going to have to do? One is your health can no longer take a back seat. When you were working, you loved being busy, right? And that allowed you to put a lot of things on the back burner, like working out, like going to the doctor, like dealing with any kind of health issue that's just been like, oh, it's okay. Maybe my knee hurts, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to work around it. Health cannot take a back seat when you're in retirement. Health is, you've got to go to the doctor's appointments. You've got to make the doctor's appointments. You have to take care of yourself because health will go down a whole lot faster. You lose muscle every single year unless you're actively building muscle, and you have no more excuses. So I put this in the ugly column because people liked it better when you had an excuse for why you didn't do the things you're going to do, why you weren't taking care of yourself, why you weren't eating that great. Now you have the time freedom. You have the discretionary funds to go to the gym. Come on, it's time. Your health has to go on the front burner, not the back burner. And you need to find, again, this is where those people come in, because maybe you find passionate people to go walking with. Maybe you find people that have a quest to go hiking different peaks. I had one friend who wanted to go hike all the tall peaks in New York State. And that was his goal. And he just found other people that did that, and you worked together. The people will come in and help you make that health a top priority. You got to find the right people and you got to find the right priority. You got to make sure that you're out there doing things with your health. And go to the gym, take beginner classes, find a trainer who will help you and say, hey, I'm just starting back up again. I'm in a different stage of life. I need a different workout. And I did a whole video on working out. Again, I can put the show notes below. But your fitness looks different in your second act. It's not so much about cardio. It's not about endurance. It's very different. It's very much about muscles and strength. But also, again, it's about taking those doctor's visits and making sure that you know what's going on in your body. Don't wait for a problem. Be proactive. Make sure that you have your blood work drawn up so you can see where are you deficient? Where do you need to take supplementation? Where do you need to change up your diet? Meet with a nutritionist. Just because there's enough you don't feel like you need to, still do it, because they're going to give you some great tips for the long term. This is where your health can be very delicate and it could topple very quickly. You want to make sure that you're doing proactive things now. You can't make excuses. Take care of your health. So that's our fourth ugly thing. And our final one is estate planning. Nobody likes to do this. Nobody wants to come up with the living will. Nobody wants to appoint an executor. No one wants to deal with your funeral plans. I know this is very ugly. Do it now while it's still something that's off in the horizon where you don't feel like, okay, I'm on my deathbed. Do it now. Decide if you're going to do a trust. Get into it now. Again, before you're never worrying about a retirement home right now, right? Do you have long-term care? These are just ugly things that you have to deal with. You have to sit down with your financial planner and say, how do I make sure that I have my money protected as best I can, that you're going to be giving off to as an inheritance to somebody? How do you protect your property? And all these documents that you need to do now while you're sound of mind and while it feels like something that's way off in the distance. Make sure you do that. It was painful, but I felt like I could do it now. And I told my kids, where are all the important documents? Make sure that they know exactly where these things are. Who's the executor of the will? Who's got my living trust? And this is a time we also might want to say, if you already had a will established, do you need to change your executor now that you're in a different stage of life? Are your kids old enough? In my case, they were older now so that I could make them the executors, because it just didn't make sense to have somebody older, like my brother in the past had been, But I'm like, he's older than me. Why not make somebody younger than me so they're more likely to be available and sound of mind to be doing the things that I've set up for executing my will. So take a fresh look at that and decide who needs to be the point people in your life. So I made my son handling all my finances and my daughter handling all my health decisions. So that way it's a shared responsibility. But again, they're young, they're up and coming. So I want those people to be the ones making decisions in my life as I get older. So it's very painful. It's very awkward. I know you don't want to do it. And also think of the cost factor, like setting up a trust is an expensive thing, but it's something that you take on and you don't necessarily pass on to whoever's going to be inheriting your estate later. So you take the financial hit so that they don't have to. These are just ugly things you have to do, and then make sure everybody knows. How do they find your account numbers? Do they know who your financial planner is? Do they know where your money is? Awkward, awkward, awkward. I know, but you got to do this stuff. So there's my five uglies. So doing your financial planning and your estate planning, finding new friends and people, finding new passions and interests, and shifting your identity, big one, shifting your identity, and then making your health your number one priority. No back burner anymore. So those are the five ugly things you need to do in retirement. And I'll put a link below to the video on finding new people, and also the video on finding how to take care of your health differently now that you're in this new stage of life. So we'll talk to you soon.